Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Joe Davis, Southern New Hampshire University, CJ 300, where we're going to talk about the final project Milestone 1. We are in Module 2 here. Okay, we're going to take a look at the actual rubric, but here are the key parts: the introduction and guidelines, the overview, the prompt, the submission guidelines, the critical elements, and in the course information section, a reminder in Module 2-1 is where you'll find all of this. Okay. I also have a sample paper to show you that should have in outline format the issue, trends, how you're going to set the stage, and the larger role. So hopefully that gives you a context of what you're about to see. Okay, here is the actual guideline rubric document. You can find this, of course, in course information and in Module 2 as part of this assignment. And so the overview is that you should now have your issue approved. Okay, and I know some of you, not uncommon, are struggling with that sometimes. Okay, and so you take that issue, and it's important because you have to look at it, the trends with respect to the criminal justice field. So there has to be a reason for this research. Okay, you include information necessary to set the stage for your supervisor. Remember, in Module 1 you reviewed the final project and assignment, and you're working on a project to give to your supervisor so your supervisor can make presentations. Okay, so it has to be, how can you set the stage for your supervisor? Then you need an overview of the project guidelines and rubrics. Okay, in this milestone you'll write an introduction section for your final report, and this information will be organized into a short alphanumeric outline, and I'll show you that, but that is very, very important. Okay, provide an overview of the issue. We got that. You need to have a brief outline of the contemporary issue you have selected to research for your final project with its importance with respect to a trend in the field. Necessary information to set the stage for your supervisor, and then consider how the issue plays a larger role in the field of criminal justice. Of course, your paper has to be submitted in 12-point Times New Roman or something equal, 1-inch margins, and don't forget to use APA format. Okay, so now when we look at the actual rubric, the critical elements, the first one is the importance with respect to a trend. And let's look at proficient. Let's look right here in the middle, because we don't want a 55%. We want to look at a B grade minimum. Accurately identifies the relationship between the issue and a criminal justice trend. If you want to earn 100%, meets the proficient criteria and demonstrates keen insights into the selected issue's relationship to a trend in criminal justice field. Next up is information necessary to set the stage, thinking of this as a presentation. Again, proficient score says, identifies a range of details that are pertinent to setting the stage for the supervisor. If you want to earn an exemplary score, you have to meet the proficient requirements and demonstrate a keen insight to the information required to set the stage. Next up is how the issue plays a larger role. Proficient says it accurately identifies the issue's importance with respect to a trend in the field of criminal justice. And again, a keen insights, more insights into it. Okay. There are two final critical elements. The first is the alphanumeric outline. Creates an alphanumeric outline that contains major headings and some detail for all the critical elements. If you want to get an A, meets the proficient criteria and includes detailed information that will form the basis for the written report, remembering it is an outline. And then, of course, your submission is free of errors related to citations, grammar, spelling, syntax, organization, and so on. So there is the guideline and the rubric. Okay, as you can see, this is a Word document, and I've put in blue a reminder for you that you need to use the issue that was approved in 1-2 worksheet. Okay. Some type of a heading, because it's just a simple paper, an outline coming to me. So the Milestone, please put your name on there, Southern New Hampshire. That's basically the heading that you would use in APA format on a title or cover page. Okay, so when we look at the issue, perhaps I should say the first part, you look at the outlining, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. That can also be Roman numeral 1, letters, any of the templates that are found in Word or Pages or any of those will work, but it has to be a regular outline format, an alphanumeric. Okay, so the issue is research the impact among children between the ages of 4 to 7 years old of witnessing domestic violence assaults in their homes. Okay, the trends as they relate to it are that the effects of intimate partner violence exposure and long-term consequences on young children's aggressive behavior. That's a trend. In other words, if they see violence at home, the long-term consequences is aggressive behavior in young children. Excuse me. Next up, long-term relationships among domestic violence, maternal mental health, and parenting and preschool children's behavior. So what that trend is that when maternal gets mental health counseling and parenting skills, how does that improve, or does it improve a preschooler's behavioral problems? In case you're curious, it does. Okay, domestic violence from the perspective of the development and protection of children. That is a trend. What we're going to look at is we want to be able to say that domestic violence, when we think about the development of children, is a problem. Of course, it's a problem for the survivor victim, but it's also a problem that perhaps in some unfortunate situations the child's ignored. The child saw what happened to typically mom. Okay, there is an association between community TV intimate partner violence and behaviors in preschoolers. That's a trend. And so now you notice in this particular trend, it's a combination of violences, aggressive behaviors. Okay, so those are 4 trends that you may want to talk about if this were your issue. Okay, we're going to set the stage. Children exposed to intimate partner violence, IPV, experience a wide variety of short-term social adjustments and emotional difficulties externalizing their behaviors, such as aggression. Okay, so now if you're making a presentation, you're going to set the stage for this. That would be something that you would say to the audience, to the department head, to the board of supervisors, something like that. Little is known about the long-term consequences. There are some studies that say we don't really know. So that would set the stage for why it's important for you to do this research. Maternal mental mediated the effects of domestic violence in children's externalizing their behavior problems. That sets the stage. We can fix this. We can make things better. So that's what that setting the stage is doing. We're telling the audience, gosh, here's what our research, we think this is where it's going to take us. The immediate effect of domestic violence are feelings of fear, anxiety, confusion, and helplessness. Should be a word in there that says in children. Okay, but that's the immediate result. And we can, if it's true, and if we can prove that with our research, and then we could come up with ameliorations for that so that we can help reduce or eliminate the fear, anxiety, confusion, anger, and helplessness. Okay, what is the larger role of this? It's important because it helps us reduce children's behavioral problems. That's good for the child. It's good for the schools, the other kids. It's important to provide the opportunity to study the long-term consequences because, again, we don't really know for sure. We'd like to look and see what happens when they become parents, becomes kind of one of the driving questions. It's important to support and provide mental health counseling where appropriate to reduce the possibilities of future violence. And the last is it's important to reduce the feelings of fear, anxiety, confusion, anger, and helplessness in a child. Hope that gives you some idea. It'll take you a little time to think of the material. The actual writing of it is not significant. It isn't much more than an outline, just what you see. I hope that helps. Let me know if there's anything I can do, and keep those cards and letters coming.